host Rail here, coming at you all for the first time in a long time with another video. Yeah, within the past like 2 or 3 years, I have uploaded maybe two videos, and it was insane. And I do apologize for that. Look, I've said this before, but where I was living at the time just did not have good upload speed. I recently moved, but yeah, the upload speed there was atrocious. You know, the download speed wasn't perfect, but the upload speed, it literally took me like 3 days to upload a 20-minute video. Like, that's ridiculous. So I'm testing the upload speed of this place, and I figured I'd do it in a pretty fun way by giving it a little challenge. And what better challenge than a tier list? And today I will be doing the top 120 One Piece character tier list maker. Now, I've already done like a list of like top One Piece characters and stuff like that, but the last one I think had probably a few more people. So yeah, I'm gonna go through a lot of people, and it's probably gonna take a minute, which hey, fine by me. But anyway, I got it set up into these categories. We've got Go to Hell, which obviously is the worst. You Suck, right above that. Bad, which is right above that. Okay, Good, Great, Amazing, and God. And actually, let me change that really quick. Yeah, my top 10 favorite characters. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look like there's too many people from Wano, if anybody from Wano. So yeah, I'm guessing this was made before the Wano arc began. I mean, there's Izo, but Izo. Oh, there's also Kinemon, and there's also Momonosuke. I'm guessing that's supposed to emphasize Kinemon. But yeah, overall, not too many people. Nobody who's introduced in Wano, unfortunately. So sorry, Yamato and Kaido fans and Oden fans and all them. I'm pretty disappointed too. But anyway, I will be going through there, and to be honest, I don't think anyone from Wano except maybe Odin or Yamato would make my top 10 anyway. So overall, it's okay. Anyway, here we go. We are starting with. Oh, it looks like it's in alphabetical order, but well, at least the first few are. We've got Ace. Ace, I like the guy, but actually, I do kind of love Ace. Ace, I do love the guy, but he's not in my top 10, and I don't know. I don't think we really got the time with Ace to do him justice. Granted, there's also the fact that the post-war arc, I found it kind of boring. I skipped most of it, so maybe that's why Ace doesn't really hit me that hard as a character. But I still love the guy. I still think he's great, you know. And we have Sakazuki. I'm gonna go with I don't really know, because as a villain and as a villain, he's definitely really good. He's what One Piece needs. He One thing that I've heard pointed out about Luffy is he's really in between Sakazuki and Blackbeard in terms of justice, where Blackbeard's a force of chaos and anarchy, while Sakazuki's a force of un uncompromising stability, and to the point where he goes way too far with it. While Luffy's down the middle, where people need to be punished for their crimes, but at the same time, people deserve freedom. So, from that perspective, I do think he's an amazing character. But overall, I'd say as a character in and of himself, I think he's just good. But as a villain, amazing. So I'm just gonna put him great. And as usual, the whole situation with where they are right here won't matter. Like, I'm not saying Ace is better than Sakazuki. He is. But I'm not necessarily saying that just because he's right in front of him. I will only be doing that with the top 10. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. Alvida, she's okay. You know, she has good moments. Overall, nothing special. Aokiji, he's not in my top 10, but I do definitely think he's an amazing character. For one thing, he's a character where I can never really anticipate what he's gonna do, especially, and that's extra interesting given how simplistic he seems. But really, he's one of the most unpredictable characters in this series. So yeah, I can't remember her name. All I remember is she's that adorable little girl from that filler arc, Warship Island. So yep, she's okay. I'm gonna put her in good. She is pretty adorable. Arlong, easily the best villain in the East Blue. And then we got to Fishman Island where we got to see more of his backstory. So while I'd like to see even more of it, see like what has happened to him personally from humans. What yeah, humans took someone he cared about. I don't know. I want to learn even more about Arlong. Buggy. This will probably be disappointing, but he's not in my top 10. But he is an amazing character, especially for some things that happen in the manga. But I'll try not to spoil anything since there are no, one only characters. But yeah, Buggy, obviously, he's hilarious in the fact that he rises so high in the world just by sheer luck. It's amazing, you know. Buggy is just, he's awesome. I wish he was a little stronger, but overall strength doesn't really make someone a great character or not. Otherwise Sakazuki would probably be top 10. Anyway, yeah, first person in the top 10. I think you guys have probably seen this coming because I think I've actually done a list like this twice. But overall, opinions change. Ace was probably once an amazing or good or something. I don't really remember. But my top 10 will probably be a little bit different, but it shouldn't be much different than the last time I did it. Other placements were probably Blackbeard. I'm gonna put him in great because overall he just hasn't been like showcased in the series enough for me to put him any higher than that. But I definitely think he's a good character. For one thing, I can't say I like him because I absolutely hate the guy. The thing is, it's like one of those hates where you're supposed to, like with Crocodile, where you think he's an amazing character, but you still hate his guts because he's the bad guy. Same with Teach, but he's also very psychologically interesting. The fact that it's like one moment he's this evil schemer, the next moment he's this insane coward. It's kind of like it's kind of like if you put Usopp on steroids, sort of. Where one moment he's incredibly brave, and then the next moment he's deceiving people, and then the next moment he's just a raging coward. It's just like Usopp's kind of like that, only far less sinister to a far lesser degree, except for the lying to people thing. But that's more of like good fun. Anyway, if we see more of Teach, sure he'll go in amazing. Probably not top 10 because really it's hard for villains to make it in the top 10 for me because I think of them more as just straight up villains than regular characters. While on this list, I'm talking about like what characters do I like the most. And when it's characters that I love to hate, like Sakazuki or Blackbeard or Arlong, it just doesn't cut it for me. At least not enough to be top 10. Ben Beckman, good. We haven't seen anything of him. I don't know who he is as a character. We saw him beat up some guys in the East Blue, and then we saw him hold Kizaru at a gunpoint. And from what I hear, Kizaru was trolling him. I don't know. Although if there's one admiral who would be trolling, it would be Kizaru. But anyway, like I'm sure if we see more of Ben Beckman, we get to know his personality. He'll probably be here. He'll most likely be here. But for now, I really like the guy, but I just haven't seen enough of him. Bellamy. I love this guy. I was not a fan of Dressrosa, probably because I watched it in the anime. If I read it through in the manga, I'll probably enjoy that, but I don't know. I don't think I'll do that because I don't. Because if it's only a chapter or two, I'll read it online. Otherwise, I like holding the book, and that's too expensive. But anyway, Bellamy, he goes through a lot of character growth. Like at first he's one of those villains that's evil for the sake of being evil, but at the same time it Oda makes it work. He's in a very small arc, which definitely helps. But he's just the antithesis of what Luffy. He's not the antithesis of Luffy because that's more Blackbeard's thing. But he's the exact opposite of what Luffy is all about. Bellamy hates dreams and just thinks just take a bunch of stuff and don't worry about myths and legends. And stay in reality. Well, Luffy's all about following your dreams, so he did exactly what he needed to do. But that's not why I'm debating between great and amazing. It's his character growth. The fact that he completely changes in Dressrosa, and Bellamy was just one of my favorite things in Dressrosa. Probably my favorite thing, other than Gear 4 Luffy, of course. But I'm not. I'm gonna put him in great, because while I love his character growth, I feel we need just a little to see Bellamy a few more times. You know, screw it, amazing. I love the guy. This lady just demonstrates that you do not need to be a biological mother to love your kids like they're your own. Because she took in Nami and Nojiko, but every moment that they were with each other, I just thought I was seeing a mother with her children. Granted, they do have a resemblance, so like if Bellamere told you that they were their kids, they were her kids, you'd believe it. They are her kids, but biologically her kids, you believe them. You believe her. Granted, Oda doesn't really have much diversity when it comes to designs of women. So, except for their clothing, because, Alvida has, a unique style of clothing. I like Alvida's design. It's really cool. But anyway, Bellamere, she is amazing. I absolutely love Bellamere. And I love how she showcased that sometimes just having kids can really change you as a human being. Because she became much more responsible and independent when she joined the Marines and then and then got Nami and Nojiko and became a mother. And she was just like the pinnacle of that. I have cousins who have adopted children, and you can tell that, and for most cases, you can tell they're not their biological children. But at the same time, who cares? They're children. They love them no less than their actual biological kids. I shouldn't say actual, just their biological kids. There's, they see no difference, which there really isn't. And she demonstrates that perfectly. It's the same reason why I love Whitebeard so much. He is a father to all of his men. When I saw how he looked at Sakazuki after he killed Ace, I didn't see a man who just lost his subordinate. I didn't see a man who just lost his best friend or anything like that. I saw a man who was looking at the man who murdered his child. That's the kind of rage that you can see from Whitebeard. That's the anger. It's not, oh hey, I liked that kid. Oh hey, that kid was my son, and I loved him more than just about anything in the world except my other children. So yeah, that's what I love about these two. They're amazing characters. Whitebeard gets a little more time to shine than Bellamere, and overall has more qualities as a character that I like than Bellamere does. But yeah, I love both of them. They're amazing. Beppo. No, I like the Minx and I like Beppo's quirkiness. We don't see him enough to put him in amazing, but he's pretty close. I love that guy. Big Mom. I'm gonna put her in greats. Granted, when I was watching the anime, I kind of skipped her backstory because I already knew what was going on in it. But overall, when it comes to writing, I think she gets the shorter end of the stick. She has a really good backstory. It just probably didn't hit me as hard because I didn't really watch all the way through it. Yeah, I like Big Mom. I think she's a very underrated character. I love how, for one thing, she's one of the most overpowered characters in all of One Piece. But since she kind of got stuck with the mind of a child, she can't really utilize her power to the best of her abilities. And I find that interesting. It might be frustrating to some people, and it can be a little frustrating to me sometimes. But overall, I really do like Big Mom. I really, if Oda would just write, do a little bit better here and there, especially with the situation in the manga, which granted I think a lot of people perceive differently and probably perceive a little bit wrong. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, just yeah, I like Big Mom. I just think she needed a little bit more time to shine because even in the arc that was kind of centered around her as the villain, Katakuri way outshined her. And while I love Katakuri, it did take away from Big Mom. And then we see her in Wano where she doesn't get much screen time. But anyway, I'm talking way too much. I got a lot of characters to get through. Bon Clay. I feel like he was forgiven way too easily, but I probably shouldn't say him. I think they were forgiven way too easily, but they're still an amazing character. I love that person. I don't know what Bon Clay identifies as, so I'm just going with non-binary just to be safe. Kizaru is great. Needs a little bit more time in the series before I actually put him like an amazing or anything, but I think he's a great character. For one thing, he kind of has the same thing with Big Mom, where he's one of the most overpowered characters but lacks the mental fortitude to utilize his power perfectly. Granted, Big Mom is more like she's just not matured or intelligent enough. His is he's too arrogant and just doesn't really care. And I don't know, he's a joy to see. I like Kizaru. Brook. I'm sorry, but he's probably my least favorite Straw Hat. You know, if it wasn't for all the skull jokes or the asking to see women's underwear or something or the fart jokes, I'd actually say he's pretty damn great, maybe even amazing. But it's just those character things that, while if used more sparingly, would probably be fine with me. Is that the jokes he uses with Brooke, or they just get so old so fast. Anyway, now I'm gonna go with amazing because that he almost let himself die in order to protect Vivi, so I'll do that. Capone Gang Beige. Love the devil fruit. Love the design. And I love how he can be pretty funny sometimes. But anyway, I'll keep him in great. Cavendish. I find his situation interesting, but I find his arrogance annoying. Caesar Clown. I'm going to go with good because while I do like him as a character, he was a very sucky villain in my opinion. But he was a sucky villain, and sometimes I can find him annoying. But for now, keep him in good. Chopper. I don't know if Chopper's in my top 10 anymore. He used to be, but I still think he's an amazing character. I think he gets way more hate than he deserves because he's like the least favorite Straw Hat to most people. Even though Brooks in the crew, I don't understand that. He gets sidelined way too much though, right? Because I absolutely love Chopper, but he needs more time to shine. Crocodile. Quite possibly my favorite villain in the series. Like, I just think Crocodile is amazing. His presence whenever he's on the screen outshines almost all villains except maybe Katakuri or Doflamingo. Sometimes Kaido. I'm not gonna spoil anything about Kaido, but for you anime only watchers, there will be a time where Kaido has a good becomes. This is gonna surprise you, but Kaido will eventually become a pretty likable villain. It's one of my favorites at the time. Only one of mine because Crocodile is my favorite. Sorry, Doflamingo fans. Crocus. I think he's great. You know, another situation of he needs more time in the series, but I think he's an absolutely great character. I cannot remember her name at the time, but I definitely think she's a great character. Kind of annoying sometimes, so I'll put her in great, not amazing. But, you know, I love how even though she's a grumpy old hag, she was still willing to take in Ace and Luffy. Granted, probably because she didn't want to say no to Garp, but, you know, she was still a tough but deep down loving mother. The Flamingo. I'm gonna put him in amazing because he does have an amazing backstory. And he is. A lot of people do compare him to Crocodile. I think he's a little more deranged than Crocodile is, or at least he shows his derangement a little bit more. But overall, I do like Crocodile more as a villain. Doflamingo's more of a threat, but the thing is, like, granted, look, Alabasta was done way better in the anime than Dressrosa was, so that's probably why I like Crocodile more than Doflamingo. Because Doflamingo, his arc was probably one of the worst adaptations in the anime. Probably the worst. It was a chore to get through that. The Punk Hazard to Dressrosa age, it just wasn't good. Zoe was short enough to not really be a big deal. And Whole Cake Island I thought was actually done pretty well in the anime. Dressrosa was not. So yeah. But he's still an amazing character nonetheless. I just don't like him as much as I do Crocodile. Don Krieg, he's okay. Gave Luffy the best fight at the time. And that pretty forgettable. Rosinante. Now, really kind of gives me Bellamere vibes, where he kind of took up a father figure role to Law and still loved him like he was his own son, even though he was just a kid he took in. You know, I love that. Dragon. I'm gonna put him in great. You know, and again, just another. He has the potential to be amazing. He doesn't really have enough personality for me to really think he's ever gonna be in the top 10. But I'm sure when we explore Dragon, he's gonna be an amazing. We just don't know enough about him yet. Drake. Put him in great. You know, when I saw him switch sides to Luffy, I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm probably going to get to know this guy as a character and love him. That didn't really happen. But I really like the guy. I'm going to put good. Look, I don't really want to go with like bad or anything like that with this character because oh wait a minute. No, I'm not gonna put bad. I'm gonna stay with okay. Because for all I don't even remember that character's name. And the only reason why that it's a terrible character is because I don't know, Oda when it comes to LGBT people, they usually get the short end of the stick. At least with with design and stereotypes. Like even with Bon Clay. Now, Bon Clay is an amazing character, obviously, but as far as like design and stereotypes, it makes sense why One Piece gets a little flack for that, you know. But at least that person's nice, weird, but not. I don't know. I'm just gonna stay in good because, like, I'm just not homophobic. So you know, Eneru, Enel, whatever you want to call him. Put him in a. Put him in great. He just didn't have the same presence that like Crocodile or Doflamingo had for me. I saw him as a threat, but he just seemed more like whiny arrogant rather than charismatic arrogant like these guys. You know. With that said, he was a very fun villain that made me hate him so much I just wanted to see Luffy beat the crap out of him in the best way possible. So I really like Enel. It's just he's not my favorite villain. Anyway. Go to hell. You suck. The thing is, this is a little harder because while Brooke obviously goes from good to great to even amazing sometimes, Frankie even a little bit more so. You know, granted, Frankie's been in the show longer, but I'm just gonna keep him good because those two are my least favorite Straw Hats. So, Fujitora, amazing. A guy who might actually be in the top 10. I don't really know. He's okay. I didn't really like him or any of his brothers, but out of all of them, I liked him the most. You know, Full Body. I don't really like that guy. Garp, amazing. I love Garp. Some people hate him because of his inaction during Marineford, but really, that just gave one of the best characterized in the arc. You know, not the best, but one of the best. I love Garp. Plus, he's funny. This guy, yeah, he's okay. You know, I find him funny. When Oda writes a good character, he writes a good character, even if that character doesn't get a lot of time to shine because he was one of the highlights of the Baratier arc. Other than Zorro versus Mihawk, he was probably my favorite thing of the Baratier arc. I absolutely love that guy. I loved how his morals clashed with his captains, but he still stood by them. It was awesome. Goldie Roger. I love this guy. I need to see a little bit more of him before I put him in the top 10, but really, I don't know. He's like. He's just a Luffy in a full grown man's body. And I love it. He's a little smarter than Luffy, but really probably not even by that much. If he didn't have Rayleigh, he probably would have gotten himself killed doing something stupid a long time ago. And I love this guy. He's hilarious. He's got so much personality. He is Luffy before Luffy was even born, and I love it. And God, a woman who was once in my top 10, who might be in my top 10 now. If this was a waifu tier list, she'd probably make number 1. Actually, she would definitely make number 1. I'm gonna go with good for this guy. I would have gone with probably Go to Hell at the beginning of the arc, but he does go through a transformation. Transformation seems a little bit more forced than most. And overall, he goes from constantly wanting Magellan to get fired to cheering him on and all that stuff. But when he confronts Luffy, even though he's completely outclassed, he still holds to his guns and still just fights because it's the right thing to do. And it's one of the few fights where I almost cheered for the guy fighting Luffy. And that was powerful. So, but his annoying moments just bump him down, so good. So Hawkins, he's good. Spoiler alert, we really don't get much more of him in the manga. A little bit, but nothing like character development, just see him fight. You know, well, I shouldn't want to say spoiler alert because I'm pretty sure people expected the fact that we're going to see him fight, but he doesn't really grow that much in the manga. Meppo. During his first appearance, easily here. But I just don't like the guy. I don't absolutely despise him anymore. Jones, he's okay. You know, I'm not really a big fan of him, but I don't think he's the worst villain in the series like some people think. I just think he's kind of stupid. Anyway, Iceberg is great. I'm kind of hard pressed to say amazing because I don't know. Now, I want to make one thing clear. Get these two guys in a room together. And then both their characters are amazing. Because those two, they're pretty much brothers. They grew up together. And they play off each other perfectly. They bring out the best of each other's characters. But individually, and I know it might be weird for me to put him above Frankie. But the thing is, Frankie has more moments against him than Iceberg does. Otherwise, I'd put him on the same level. Yeah, there was never really much. There was only like 1 or 2 times where I didn't like Iceberg. There have been multiple times where I haven't liked Frankie. So yeah, granted, kind of unfair because Frankie's been in the series more, has had more chances to annoy me. And, he's good. Or they are good. I don't really know. I don't really know. That's a confusing situation. Ivankov can be kind of annoying sometimes, so that bumps them down from amazing, but overall, Ivankov's one of the funniest characters in this series. Sometimes can be annoying, but, I love Ivankov. Izo. I don't really know. I love Izo. Izo's one of my favorites of the vassals. However, the vassals are surprisingly not very well utilized. I'm gonna go great, because Oda didn't really give Izo enough time to shine. When Oda gave him enough time to shine, and yes, it is him. Like, Izo's sister does identify as a female. Izo's just a cross-dresser. He still identifies as a man. But anyway, when Oda gives Izo time to shine, Izo has time to shine. It's just not enough. That guy annoys me. She's okay. We barely get to see her. Although, the mystery surrounding her, bump her up to good. Jinbei, amazing. Now I know that might sound weird considering the fact that I did put him in last as a Straw Hat, but that's as a Straw Hat, not as a character. Brooke and Frank are my least favorite Straw Hats because they're my least favorite as characters. Jinbei is my least favorite Straw Hat as a Straw Hat because he kept blowing off the crew. But anyway, I'm gonna try to speed through a few of them. I can't remember if that's Johnny or Yosuke. I think that's Johnny. Put him in good. Kaku was probably my favorite of the CP9 agents. I'll put him in amazing. None of the other agents, except maybe Jobber, will make it though. Katakuri. Favorite fight in the series? Yeah, favorite fight in the series. And Katakuri made it that way. Because of his growth as a character throughout that fight, it's amazing. From an insecure man who puts on this persona as a perfect being, so perfect that he will hide his face forever, so that way people won't see that imperfection. He does that to protect his family. Even protect them from their mother. He's the second in command, usually takes charge. And I love this guy. He is amazing. Kaya, we put her in great. You know, she really brings out the best of Usopp. Killer. Doesn't get enough time. Get him on. He's not going in amazing. Because while he has amazing moments, back when we first met him, I absolutely hated the guy. I was thinking, I heard that the post-time skip era was a little bit more kill-happy than pre-time skip. I was kind of hoping he'd be on there. No. But then in Wano, he gets a lot better. But overall, still has not nearly as many, but some moments where I just don't like the guy. But anyway, during the raid, he has had no moments where I don't like him. Like maybe one at most, and I can't even think of what that would be. So yeah, that's what bumps him up to great. But the moments I hated him keep him down from amazing. Koala, she's great. Doesn't get enough time in the series. Actually, her backstory puts her in amazing. Most questionable of amazing, but I really like Koala. B. Another situation where we need to see more of the guy to bump him up to amazing. And I realize some people really don't like Kobe. I love Kobe because really, there's a lot of people you see on journeys in One Piece that are just kind of like parallels to Luffy's, like Blackbeards or something. You could probably say the same thing with Kid. But like Kobe, he is kind of like the dynamic of Garp and Roger. He's like Luffy's Garp. You'd probably think that would be Smoker, and for a little while it definitely was. I think the ties have changed with that now. Now, granted, it's a little bit different because, you know, while Kobe's willing to take in Luffy if he has to, willing to bring Luffy in if he has to, not take him in. But, no, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. It's 4 a.m. I'm confused. Anyway. But anyway, he is willing to kill Luffy. I don't think he could if he tried, but he is willing to. And we get to see this guy grow. He becomes so much stronger every time we see him, and so much more confident. You know, we see him grow alongside Luffy. The only reason why he's not amazing is because we don't get to see his journey near enough, which I would absolutely love to see. Anyway, I hate her design. I think she's a pretty good character. Yeah, let's just call her the borderline of good and great. Zoro's my favorite character, and Kuina is the inspiration for Zorro, which might be kind of weird because it's not really what she does for as a character herself, but what she does for the other character. So I'm not gonna say Zorro's my favorite character because I want to decide that when we get to the top 10s. But anyway, Kuina, great character because of what she does for Zorro, and I think overall good character. Kuma is amazing because There are very few characters in this series I want to learn about more than Kuma. This guy is just like a walking mystery, and I love it, and I want to learn about it. The way and the fact that he's just so intelligent. He's able to play the pieces of this game that is the One Piece world to perfection. And actually, I don't even know if he does. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But the thing is, that's the thing. This One of the best things about One Piece is you are constantly asking questions. And aside from maybe Shanks or Vegapunk, I am asking no more questions of anybody else than this guy. Well, nobody living, you know. There's, well, Emu. But overall, this guy is just, I love this guy. He is awesome. It's the things I don't like about Dr. Kureha that keep her from being amazing, but she's pretty damn close. You know what? I'm gonna put great. He was probably before Arlong my favorite villain of the East Blue. Sure, his plan was overcomplicated and kind of stupid when you actually think about it, but I don't know. He had this really cool factor to him that really made him stand out as the One Piece villains. He was the first one I felt intimidated by. Alexander Morgan, I didn't really feel intimidated by him at all. And I like the fact that he kind of played into Alexander Morgan's backstory and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Buggy, obviously didn't feel intimidated by him. Kuro, I was actually kind of not necessarily on the edge of my seat, but I was kind of nervous about this guy, you know. But anyway, on to this guy, Kiros, I believe his name, Kairos or something. I can't really remember. I'm gonna put good. That backstory was played way too much. But you know, the side characters' dress roast just didn't really hit me. You know, some of them were good, some of them were bad. Really, this guy's probably even closer to okay, but the moments where he really shines, bump him up to good. Great character overall, but I also really like whales. So yeah, Law. Look, probably my most controversial opinion in One Piece is my opinion on Law. It's where I think he is a really good, great character. But I get why people love this guy. I just don't really love him myself. I love him at times, but like the Saba Odi archipelago law that we got, where it was just like a very calm, cool, and collected guy, who was very chill, had a very interesting devil fruit that I want to learn more about, and we have learned more about him. More about it, obviously, and it is really OP, but I also kind of love it. If we would have gotten that and kept it, I thought it would have been he would have been exactly what One Piece needed. Just among the mayhem and chaos and weirdness of this world, that was one guy who's a very stable, very calm, cool, and collected pillar. And I would have been all for that. If it was like that, if he would be the same law we saw in Archipelago, easily top 10. Not number one, but easily top 10. But no. He's just really grumpy. He is such a grouch. And yeah, so is Zorro. So sometimes I like seeing him and Zorro play off each other, especially since he's kind of like a more intelligent Zorro. It can be a funny dynamic sometimes. Not one we get to see enough. But overall, his dynamic is get mad at the Straw Hats. I don't mind that being the case every once in a while, but it's overdone, and it really kills Law as a character for me. But he's got a lot going for him, so great it is. Not top 10, not amazing. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Law. I just don't love him. I really like him, but I don't love him. I love him sometimes. That she's an okay character and a really sucky filler arc. I'm not gonna put him in amazing because he just well the Luffy versus Lucci fight was amazing. He just doesn't have the personality for me. Luffy, yeah, yeah. Top 10. Luffy, I believe his name is Luffy? Something. I don't know, we don't get to see enough of him. Magellan? You know what? As a threat, I thought he was great at the time. As a character, I don't know, he makes a lot of stupid decisions. He lets out Shiryu. He constantly eats poison because he makes things taste better, but he's always on a toilet because of it. I'm gonna say good. As a threat, great at the time. Nowadays, he would easily be stomped by Luffy. But yeah, Kid. I really like Kid. You know, sure he's also grumpy like Law, but it's more comedic. Law needs this Oda. Law needs more comedy. His comedy is just being the grumpy guy while everyone's funny around him. And that can work sometimes, but it doesn't work as much as he wants it to. At least not for me. You said the... Okay, her name is completely lost on me. I'm going with okay because we rarely ever see her. I'm sure I'd absolutely love her if we'd see her more, but it's the problem with One Piece. Like, even though it's so long, there are so many characters we just don't focus on enough. I agree. But good. She just doesn't really have much personality. Zanderzonia, I believe. In the Marigold. I'm gonna put okay. I don't like her design. And we barely see anything of her. Amazing design, a lot of mystery, and the fact that he was willing to help train the guy whose goal it is to kill him. Literally told him to his face that his goal in life is to kill him. But he was willing to help him make that happen. Even though at first he said that him asking him to do that sounded absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I love Mihawk. Monet, she's good. You suck. His interesting idea of a backstory that I really want to visit kind of keeps him from going out. Plus, I like his devil fruit. Nami is going in amazing. You know, she's had some good moments in the manga that I think a lot of people are gonna like. Overall, like, she does have moments where she can be pretty annoying, so that kind of keeps her from top 10. But I absolutely love Nami. Always have, always will. He's good. Robin is too sidelined to be amazing. If Oda would just give Robin more time to actually... I'm gonna bump her up to amazing. She wasn't an amazing the last couple times that I did this. But, you know, she had some moments in the... Just imagine her as the cross-section between great and amazing. Because that's what she... Actually, I'm going to change my mind. Ace is amazing. I love Ace. Anyway, Nojiko, I believe her name is. She's good. Not very well utilized. Hachin is... out of all the characters in the entire series, Hachin was by far the most way too easily forgiven. Like, I think Luffy or somebody should at least rough them up a little bit before it's forgiven. But once everything was fine, it just showed that he is just an awesome character. He was my favorite of the Arlong Pirates. You know, as a character himself. As a villain, Arlong, obviously. But as a character, he was my favorite because he was funny. Anyway, he was forgiven way too easily, but at the same time, like, he was so great in Zabo that I just can't help but absolutely love the guy. She's good. We barely see her, but every moment that we do see her, she's great. But since we barely saw her before she died, good. Okay. guy's okay. I found him kind of annoying. Oh, babe. Oh my god. Like, this guy was probably one of my favorite characters introduced in. Okay, yeah, Robin's going amazing. This guy was probably one of my favorite characters introduced in this Water 7 arc. And I can't remember his name. I'm just so sucky with names. Hey, pal. He would have been higher if Odin would. Odin. He would have been higher if Oda would have just let his sacrifice let him stay dead. You know? But no, Oda had to pull that really stupid, no, he's alive thing. Haha. And it was just the worst example of that. Because we didn't get to know him enough to actually really care that much that he's still alive. So, you know, the noble sacrifice would have at least bumped him up to good. Perona, you suck. I'm not a fan of Perona. Marco. Yeah, Wano really bummed this guy up for me. I absolutely love Wano. Well, yeah, I do love Wano. It's one of my favorite arcs in the series, probably my favorite. But I really love Marco. You know, this guy is just awesome. You know what? I'm gonna bump her up to great for one thing, and I don't mean to sound like a snowflake or anything or like an SJW, but I am a very non-discriminatory person. And I love how Oda just kind of decided to be like, you know what? I'm going to give a good, non stereotypical transgender character. And that's what I love about her. And her name is slipping my mind, and this is driving me nuts. Zabo. Sabo's a pretty controversial character. A lot of people absolutely love him, some people hate him. I don't like him as much as Ace, but I definitely think he's a really good character. I don't. Probably the reason why I don't like him as much as Ace is because I don't really like some of the writing around him. I find that amnesia thing stupid and lazy for, especially for Oda. But overall, as a character in and of himself, I really like the guy. Very likable. That one's Sandazonia. Yeah, she's okay. Sanji's obviously amazing. To be honest, he would probably be top 10 if it wasn't for the stupid Fishman Island arc. What they did, I liked Fishman Island arc. If it wasn't for what they did to him, the Fishman Island arc, where he was constantly where his nose was constantly bleeding, and that got so old so fast. It was a little funny the first couple times, but I don't know that just really killed Sanjay as a character for me. Then Whole Cake Island came around and he got back up. Well, I don't want to say killed as in like I ever really disliked Sanji. I've always really liked Sanji. I've always loved Sanji. I just didn't love him as much after the Fishman Island arc until we got to Whole Cake Island. Then loved the guy even more. Well, just not. I'm still not at the point where I love Sanji as much as I used to. But he did back up a lot during Whole Cake Island. Anyway, this video's already going on long enough. Go to hell. Go to hell. Not really. I like Sengoku. Especially like the retired, calm, cool, and collected, relaxed Sengoku. That's just good vibes. I like it. Huh? But I'm in amazing. Nah. No, I haven't seen enough for amazing. B5. If we'd see him enough, if we would see him more often, he'd be amazing. What puts him here is his backstory. It was one of the most heart-wrenching backstories in the entire series. And it was so good, especially for a really not too important character. Like Oda really could have written him out and just given Frankie somebody else to fight, because that's pretty much what he did in the series. But oh, Oda gave him an absolutely ridiculous design and made me absolutely hate the guy at first. And then one backstory later, we find out why he dresses like that, what he's been through, and it's like, oh my god, I love let's see, what did I say? Baby Five, Senior Pink. I like Baby Five. Senior Pink is just wow, wow. No, 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 not. I was gonna say something that's spoilery, but not gonna say it. If you're wondering, it does have to do with a certain backstory. Anyway, so tomorrow, bad. He annoys me. Shanks. While in hindsight, it was kind of stupid that he lost his arm to a pretty weak Sea King, still an amazing character. Although, granted, maybe he lost it because that would he knew would probably motivate Luffy enough to do what he's doing. Really? Will he be top 10? Because if not, very close. He is one of those borderline characters with Fujitora and Hancock. Smoker. Look, I realize a lot of people aren't that fans of Smoker, or at least just find him okay. And in terms of strength, yeah, he's better than people think. Keep in mind, he almost did beat Law. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that Law's Devil Fruit was so versatile and overpowered, he probably would have won that fight. But overall, Punk Hazard really killed Smoker for a lot of people because he kept getting in fights that he just wasn't strong enough to win. Like Luffy, not Luffy. Yeah, he didn't fight Luffy. Law, no. Like I said, he almost won that fight. Virgo, and Virgo is one of the best armament hockey users we've seen in the series. I mean, Virgo, I think, is a character who's very underrated in terms of strength. But yeah. And then Doflamingo. Doflamingo at the time was an absolute beast. Sure, he can't compare to like Big Mom or Kaido or Whitebeard or anybody. He's still pretty tough. Smoker was. Oh, damn it. Damn it. What is this thing doing? Damn it, my screen's frozen. Oh, please tell me I didn't just lose everything. Okay, good. Everything's right where it's supposed to be. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. It's just taking a minute. Yeah, you got her. I also can't remember her name. I'm not a fan. Tashigi can be a little irritating sometimes. She does have one of those personalities that's kind of hit or miss. It can be a little miss for me sometimes, but overall, I definitely think she's a good character. You know, especially like her rivalry with Zorro. But yeah, she can be kind of whiny and annoying. All I know is I obviously like Smoker better. Oh, and I wasn't done talking about Smoker. But why I like the guy obviously isn't in terms of strength, except for the East Blue. He was tough for the East Blue. But it's what he represents as a character. He is an incorruptible force inside a highly corrupted organization. One thing that I absolutely love that he did was when the government tried to say he was the one who took down Crocodile, which granted he probably could have. Crocodile in hindsight isn't really that tough. He probably, but you know, with that Sea Prison Stone Jete, I believe it's called, he probably could have beaten Crocodile. But anyway, he absolutely refused to admit that he actually did it, and he refused his. Well, eventually he did have to submit and take his promotion. At first, he was like, "No, I'm not getting promoted for something I didn't do." So yeah, he refused to just lie to the public or anything. But eventually, he did have to go along with it. But I love how he stays pure during while inside the Marines. That's one reason why I absolutely love Garp. That's one reason why I absolutely love Kobe. Because I love the Marines who are like, no, this is wrong, no matter what. I love this guy. He is a great backstory character. Okay. Uh, Need to see. Go good. Usopp. Usopp. You know what? He's got to be in the top 10. Because he's funny. And I love this guy. While, during this whole story, it's really been more about how Luffy changes the world around him rather than Luffy changing himself and developing as a character. He more develops the world around him, and the world kind of develops their view of him. As well as kind of the other Straw Hats, Usopp really develops as a character more than anybody else. He is so, well, yeah, he is still cowardly and a liar. He's just so much braver now than he was, because his goal is character development. Luffy's goal is a title and freedom. His goal is to develop into a brave warrior of the sea, and he is getting there. To be honest, this is one reason why I'm so looking forward to Elbath, because I think it's going to be Usopp's arc. I'm kind of disappointed that Wano wasn't really Zoro's arc. But anyway, Virgo, I think he is definitely underrated in terms of fighters, but as a character, he's kind of boring. Reiju, she was one of those characters who had a turnaround where it's like, at first I hated this girl, and then she turned around and showed us her true colors. It's like, oh, she's actually a good person who cares about her little brother Sanji. Anyway, I'm gonna put her in great. Viola, she's a good. She pretty much did what a narrator would usually do, so she wasn't really that useful. Vista, he's good. I love how he was able to now, out of underrated powerhouses, Vista, he might actually take the cake. Keep in mind, he fought Mihawk to a standstill. Now, you could make the case that maybe Mihawk wasn't going like 100% all out, so that way he didn't accidentally kill a bunch of Marines and lose his title. But even that's probably not the case. It could be that Vista is just a lot stronger than people give him credit for. Yeah, like, I am not shy about the fact that I absolutely love Vivi. Alabasta is one of my favorite arcs in the series, maybe my favorite, but not just because Crocodile is my favorite villain, but because of all the side characters who have kind of gone along with what the Straw Hats have done. Vivi is my favorite. Easily my favorite princess of the series, easily my favorite girl of the series. I absolutely love Vivi. She had some moments at the beginning where, I think Oda kind of messed up with her writing. But once Oda got on track with that, she became one of my all-time favorite characters, and will continue to be, undoubtedly. He's good. I don't really remember much about him though. Yes, I'm gonna put him okay. He seems like a very likable character, but for one thing, he abandoned his child. Suku, put with Johnny. I like them both equally. Zeph. I love Zeph. I think he is a great character. Kind of abusive, but it's like he's begrudgingly abusing Sanji out of love. So yeah, I love this guy. I think he's amazing. Yeah, Zorro. It's Zorro. Whenever I see someone make a top 10 One Piece character list and Zorro's not in it, I always just wonder why. Because he's the reason why I got into One Piece. It's because I saw the Funimation dub when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I was talking really little. Like before I realized just how terrible it was. Yeah, that little. Right in its target demographic. But Zorro, I don't know. His cool factor is just what got me into One Piece because I remember watching it when I was little, and when I got older, I remember just like there was this really cool guy who fought with three swords. He put two in his hand, then he put the hilt of one in his mouth and fight that way. Because when I was little, I would actually do that because of Zorro. I would have like toy swords, and I'd fight with like one in my mouth, and it would just be fun. But anyway, yeah, and that's how I got into One Piece by looking it up, and that's how I got into anime. I was not an anime fan before a couple of years ago when I started watching One Piece. And yeah, thank you, Zoro. So anyway, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Chopper's not in my top 10 anymore. So I need two of these characters. I just don't know. You know what? Vivi might be best girl for me, but Hancock's my waifu. So, it'd be kind of weird to not have a waifu in the top 10. Fujitora versus Rayleigh. Fujitora is another one of those guys who's just not corruptible and stays true to his morals. He even studies moral justice, even uses moral justice, where he will take the lives of citizens above all else. That's a good contrast to Sakazuki, who's like, get the job done under any cost. But Rayleigh, I don't know. I love Rayleigh. I think he's absolutely awesome. I think he has a little bit more personality than Fujitora, though. He's like the cool yet a little bit quirky-ish grandpa that you have. While Fujitora, is a very nice and calm man, but isn't really like doesn't have as much personality as Rayleigh. But man, I don't know. I put Rayleigh in my top 10 before. I haven't put Fujitora in my top 10 yet, but he's always like literally right on the outside of it. I just don't know. You know what? Usopp's been a little sidelined lately. So I think I'm going to actually bump him out of the top 10. He'll be the side. He will be the outside character who is literally just barely, and I mean just barely. And I get it, Usopp gets a lot more time to shine than Fujitora or Rayleigh, but keep in mind, that can be kind of a detriment to him. Because when someone's always right there, but but they still barely get any screen time, it hits harder than characters we rarely see. Okay, so let's see. I think I like Rayleigh just because he has a little bit more personality than Fujitora. And I like the idea of Rayleigh's history a little bit better with Fujitora. And I love how he trained Luffy. That took Luffy under his wing and grew a bond with him. Like when Luffy set out to become Pirate King, Rayleigh actually started tearing up like, I am so proud of that kid. Because I think a lot of people forget this, but obviously Rayleigh spent more time with Luffy than his crew has. He spent a year and a half on an island training with Luffy, while Zorro and Nami and Usopp and all of them maybe spent, I think it was like maybe 4 months, is what the pre-time skip era of One Piece was. So yeah, Rayleigh's probably closer with Luffy than even Zorro is. And Zorro's probably Luffy's best friend. So yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, let's, again, I'm not ranking all these. This video is long enough as it is. I'll rank the top 10. Luffy will be above Whitebeard. Zorro will also be above Whitebeard. Whitebeard will still be in third place. I don't think Whitebeard's moving from third place. Smoker. If there were just sometimes when we first got introduced to Hancock, she was not a likable character at all, but then grew to be really likable. So that's why I'm kind of keeping her low on the list. To be honest, no, I think I like her slightly better than Fujitora Rayleigh. Probably because she's funnier. She's funny. But anyway, Vivi, I think she's gonna keep her fourth place. I don't like Smoker more than Shanks or Mihawk. But who do I like more, Mihawk or Shanks? I think Mihawk's a little bit more cool of a character than Shanks. Although I can probably, this might sound weird, but I could probably relate to Mihawk a little bit more because I'm more of a loner myself than a party animal like Shanks. So yeah. And then just so we're clear, I'm not saying I don't have any friends. I'm just really introverted. Shanks is more likable, but Mihawk, I don't know. This isn't even going to be the hardest choice. The hardest choice will be putting who's number one, Luffy or Zorro. But Shanks is a little bit more likable than Mihawk. Yeah, I'll keep him there. But keep in mind, this could go either way, no matter what. No, it's Mihawk. No, it's Shanks. Oh my, I'm so indecisive. This is hard. I'll keep him right there. But you guys know they could go either way. Now, Luffy versus Zorro. If I was still watching like pre-time skip One Piece, well, A, Fujitora wouldn't be on this list. And B, Zorro would easily be above Luffy. Luffy would still be in second place, don't get me wrong. It's just the pre-time skip era focused more on Zorro than the post-time skip era does. Like I said, I was really disappointed that Wano wasn't Zorro's arc. You do get a little bit more of Zorro's backstory, but it's really barely anything at all. And don't get me wrong, that's not a spoiler or anything. I'm not telling you what we get. But in the manga, we've seen a little bit more of Zorro's backstory, but really just barely anything else. So it leaves a lot to be desired. But yeah, Zorro's just been so much more quiet and sidelined in the post-time skip era. So I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's a situation of if I was judging pre-time skip One Piece, it would easily be Zorro. Easily. I mean, I love Luffy not much less than I love Zorro, but I definitely did love Zorro more. Post-time skip, where Luffy is pretty much the center of attention, and really all the Straw Hats get sidelined, except for Luffy and Sanji and Usopp sometimes. The rest get really sidelined. It gets time to shine, but very rarely. I don't know. Granted, I like pre-time skip One Piece more than post-time skip One Piece. You know, post-time skip does have some of my favorite arcs like Whole Cake Island and Wano, but they're just factors of pre-time skip One Piece I love way more than post-time skip. One of them is we actually get to see the crew. Sure, some people like maybe Robin don't get a lot of time to shine, but overall we get to see the crew far more often. They all get to interact more. They get to be the Straw Hats more often. And yeah, so I don't know. Because lately Zorro has stepped down as my favorite character. Yeah, it pains me to say this, but because Zorro's been so sidelined in the post-time skip era, and Luffy's never been sidelined, it's just Zorro did get more time to shine then than he does now. Luffy is now my favorite character in the series. And let me tell you something, it kills me to say that, because again, if I was just judging by pre-time skip, it would be Zorro. But no, it's gotta be Luffy. Zorro, I love you. You're still probably my... Nah, I changed my mind, it's Zorro. All that lead up, and it's like, nah, it's Zorro. Zorro's just my favorite character. Again, he is way too sidelined in the post-time skip era. Because pre-time skip, it would have been unquestionably Zorro. But yeah. Anyway, this video's been long enough, taking up enough of your guys' time. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do hope to actually upload more often. Luckily, I'll get a taste of what the upload speed is here based on this video. So it's probably like an hour long. If I'm gonna go to bed here pretty soon, and yes, I did say it's 4 a.m. and I'm gonna go to bed here pretty soon because I work night shifts. So yeah, my upload schedule will be a little weird. But anyway, I do hope to upload more often. I do hope to grow my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching.